So today, in my world of the hospitality, G, is Teeth Out Tuesday. It happened. I see it, all that teeth. Come on, put them out. Show them to me. No, a lot of things tie me to Greensboro. I am very honored to call Greensboro home because Greensboro makes me feel like I'm related to everybody. Everybody knows a little bit about me. People tell me that I don't meet a stranger. So approachability is across my name badge because everybody that meets me says, gosh, I'm so drawn into you. You have to have some of me in you because that's how we're kin. You can't be that approachable without having some of me in you. So I'm not from Greensboro. I am from Farmville, Virginia. Who has heard of Farmville, Virginia? Who would be up here so proud to say I'm from Farmville, Virginia? Unless see, the teeth are out. I love it. So Greensboro taught me about my hometown, which was amazing, believe it or not. Yeah, it did. I'm telling you. So I did the Other Voices program, and it was on Religion Day, where I heard them talk about the Quaker movement. The Quaker movement, and I was just like, gosh, this is sounding so familiar because my dad always talks about the Quakers, because in Farmville, Virginia, it was the fifth and final case of Brown versus Board of Education. Farmville, Virginia was where they decided to shut schools down for 5 full years, 1959 to 1964, because there were no way that we were going to be amongst each other. I didn't find that out until I was in Other Voices in Greensboro. Lucky me, right? Lucky me, right? Because we all know the influence that comes when your parents share stories about things that have happened to them in their past, that you start getting this tunnel vision of how you see people and how people show up. So I'm lucky that I didn't find out everything that I found out, that I know now about Farmville, until I Googled my dad. And I found out that he was one of the 5 of the high school that were able to go to Iowa. Iowa's a long way from Farmville. It really is. To finish high school just to get an education. But then said, I'm coming back to Farmville because I was born in Farmville. I wanted to make sure that that's clear. And said, I'm going to open up the first Black-owned law office. And I want anybody who needs my help to be able to come to Farmville. Something has to be done about Prince Edward County. It's a book about my hometown, so you can get a little bit more there. The old high school, the R.R. Moten Museum, is now a full museum, but I went to middle school at the R.R. Moten Museum, okay? So listen, as I say, 1959 and 1964, and you were just talking about the 70s and how that wasn't a long time ago, right? Yeah. And we talk about the things when it comes down to how I choose to express myself. Yeah, that wasn't happening in Farmville. It wasn't. It wasn't. So things happened, and I came to North Carolina. I came to the booming metropolitan of Graham. Yep, I was right there. It was bigger than Farmville. I was excited about that, but not much bigger than Farmville. But it was in Graham, and it was at that time where if I was too tomboyish, I could put on a dress and they would say, oh no, she's not gay because she has on a dress. So some days when I would come to school and my coach would look me in the face because of the chitter chatter that has not stopped. I don't know if it happened. I'm sure that it was going on before me, right? So the gossip that goes around that got back to my coach who asked me, Ivy, are you a dyke? Just like that too. And I see the way that you're looking because, yeah, I was just in the 9th grade. Had never heard of the word because it wasn't a Google search engine around. I don't think that was in the Encyclopedia Britannica. I don't. But it was given to me in a way that made me feel like, what do you mean? It sounded so bad. No, not even a little bit. It really made me so uncomfortable that the next day I decided to break the rules. I'm comfortable in the skin that I'm in, but I have a 6'2" wingspan and I'm not 6'2". And at my school, if your dresses didn't come past your fingertips, then they would send you home. So that was my cop-out every day that somebody thought that Ivy could have been into what was said and how it was presented as taboo. Well, I could just get sent home from school the next day. So I then went to Elon University. Now, because I started as Elon College, where I was a fighting Christian, guys. Underneath all of that, okay? Right. So all of the things that I've come to and the experiences that I've been through has allowed me to show up original. I lived in the world of Quaintance Weaver for 11 years here in Greensboro. So it raised me in a way of saying, okay, great, I can be myself in here. I stayed in that bubble. That was where I first put on a suit. It was where I found myself being very passionate because I was dealing with a bunch of refugees because I was in charge of the housekeeping department. It never struck me as to why the community organizations wanted to work with me so much, but I knew it was because of approachability now. We're going to bring them to you, Ivey, because we know you're going to take care of them. I would freak out as I would see my colleagues yelling as if yelling was a sign of, oh, they're going to understand me better because I can get louder. No, you're scaring the crap out of my staff. I'm going to ask you to leave. These are things that I was able to pack into my toolkit. And people kept asking me, Ivey, how can you show up so original? And it was when Deanna wrote this story about me of being out in the South and what that looks like as an African-American female whose mom chose to warn me about, you're black, you are a female, you really want to be gay? That's 3 strikes on you before you even walk out of the door. I can't allow that. And now I'm like, well, why didn't y'all tell me about Farmville? Huh? No. I'm glad that they didn't. I'm really glad that they didn't. I'm really glad that they didn't. I'm grateful for the experience that we had. I somehow have walked this path to where I start following directions. So once that story came out about my mama loving me, because we had a tough battle, we really did have a tough battle, but we got there. And we got there in a way that it was so powerful that I asked her, can I bring my mama? Because my mama has to talk about this as well so it can help my community understand. Stop forcing your babies to go to the store and wear a dress because that's what you were taught. Allow people to be themselves and be comfortable in the skin that they're in. It was, yeah. So at Quaintance Weaver, it was one morning. I know it was Christmas morning. I really know because no managers wanted to work. So I got the call from the GM that said, hey, Ivey, how would you like to be the manager on duty? And I was like, yes, I'm in charge of everything in here, right? It's like, I got an idea for you. Because I know that you sometimes, dibble and dabble a little bit. But what if you came in a suit? And I was like, I got a suit. You trying to tell me I can wear my suit? I wore that suit. And some people who approach me now says, gosh, my suit's wearing me, but honey, you wear that suit. You show up in that suit, but not only that, you demand attention in that suit. How do you do it? Some don't know it's because my mama loved me. Yeah? I mean, acceptance is real. The power of acceptance can turn on lights. That's why I'm so bright. Okay? I mean that. That's why I walk around here with my teeth out every day, and I encourage everybody that I engage with to get out of their own way. I get the luxury of working with Michael right back there at NCCJ, so you better believe that I'm showing those kids that, yes, you can be successful. You can be comfortable in the skin that you're in, and you can show up this way. It was when I left proximity because I wanted to be involved in the community, where I was then made in Greensboro for being a community builder. So I then said, oh, let me do that. Let me start building community. So my phone rings off the hook all the time. Hey, Ivey, do you know this? And I say, I sure do. Here's this number. Let me pass it to you. Hey, Ivey, what about this? Hey, here's this number. Let me pass it to you. The Hospitality G is about empowering and motivating hospitable behavior in the workplace. Okay, I give growth conversations throughout this community. I got hired by an organization that, hey, come in, train our staff because they really need some help and you really know how to do this. I got in there and I observed for a week and I said, your staff don't need any help with what they're doing. Your leadership needs help on how to communicate to your staff. Can I do that? Right? So that's the fun that I get to have around the community now with sharing this positive energy, with making people understand that it's you. Really. You're not misrepresenting yourself. I mean, people aren't misunderstanding you. You're unintentionally misrepresenting yourself. So get out of your way. If you're not walking around here with your teeth out, you're missing opportunities. It was the Other Voices program that I was in that had me, I tell this story because I want you to know just Greensboro and what it means and how connection is so important. In Other Voices, I had the opportunity to sit in the circle, and Brent Christensen, who is, he's at the chamber. He was brought in to handle finances for the chamber, okay? And we were in the Other Voices program together. And I, underneath all of this suit, have 25 tattoos. Clearly, my hair is down to my behind. I think that that's a safe word. But as Michael said, this talk is, it's practice. I have to project my voice. I have to sound like this so people don't see this and turn the other way. Because of the connections that I've made in Greensboro, it allows me to ride down the street with my music blaring and people blowing their horn. Ivy, I'm trying to get your attention. Can you turn your music down? And not think, oh, that's what they do. There are a lot of people who misgender me because they see the bow tie. They say young man. Some people I waste my energy on because I say, hey, listen, you gotta, I do a lot of coaching in that, don't worry, gender spectrum training, whoop, whoop. I say that to say that being open and being approachable allows connection. If you know anyone that's in their own way, allow the Hospitality G to give a growth conversation to help you, to help any organization, because I believe that the way that you show up is important and the way that you make people feel is important. They will never forget it. Thank you all for having me.